Okay guys, I'm gonna try to clear up some confusion, but it may just create more, but that's okay. So 4 years ago, yesterday, I made a blade that I called the Serpent and Steel. Um, it was probably at that time my most complicated build. I also did it all with a hammer and anvil. I had no power tools at any time. I had my forge, I had an anvil, and I had a hammer. So you can make some complicated Damascus just like that. It was done for thousands of years. But I'm going to try to explain the process I used when I created the Serpent and Steel. So the first thing I did was I made a bar of Damascus. And I squeezed it down to, I'm thinking it was like 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch, so long. And I got some 5160 that was actually diesel truck springs, and I squeezed it to the same size as the Damascus bar. I took 2 bars of the 5160 and put on top and bottom of the Damascus. So I had 3 bars, Damascus in the center, 5160 on top and bottom, okay? And we're just gonna say this green tape is my Damascus bar. So this is what my billet looked like. I had the Damascus bar in the center. I had 5160 on top and bottom. So from that point, I cut a bird's mouth into one end of it, which looked like this, okay? So from that point, I forge weld this together. I pulled this down and forge weld this together, which ended up looking like this, okay? So once I had that done, I come in and I took notches out of the top and the bottom and staggered them, okay? Which ended up roughly looking like this. So I had my bird's mouth forge welded, and I had my Damascus bar in the center, and I cut these notches out offset, okay? So I heated that up. I hammered this flat. In the process of hammering this back flat, what it did was it pulled up and down on this Damascus bar, right? And that created the Serpent. And this is how I made the Serpent and the Steel. It's simple when you think about it, but I know it causes a lot of confusion. But the process of cutting these notches out, offset from one another, and then hammering them flat is what stretched the Serpent back and forth for the pattern, okay? So that's my process. This is how I did it. I saw it in my brain. I sketched it out on paper just because I wasn't for sure it was even possible. And I created the knife, the Serpent and the Steel. And this is how I did it. Try it. You never know.